So this is a big deal, right? Olympic Games for Tokyo 2020 were announced, and through a partnership with Intel, they're going to be having an event that will use Rocket League and Street Fighter V. It's backed by about $500,000 USD. Based on my understanding, this is going to be similar to like what IESF had last year that me and Giuna did with Tekken, where it's just kind of an event that happens within the Olympics. It's just it's backed by it and just runs separately like that. A lot of people might be kind of caught off guard by this. The thing is, this is very close to, I think, what Capcom Japan wants for Street Fighter. Long-term goal is they want this as an Olympic game. And one reason why that is because Japan still holds on to the idea of the Olympics as the dream of it. But I was watching the Olympics with my dad, and some guy, I forget what event it was some bullshit, but he got second place. And during the medal ceremony, he took off his medal, threw it down. And this is, I'm still a young kid. I don't really, you do competitive stuff, but you don't really get competition yet. At least I didn't at that age. It took me a while. Why is he so mad? He got like second place. But then as you get older, you come to understand the competitive mindset. You do something like whether it's sports or fighting or whatever. You understand that he didn't want second place. He wanted to win. And you come to understand the realities of competition and stuff like that. I thought at the time, I was like, man, it's so cool. All these countries from around the world get together on the same stage, and they play whatever event it is. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. It brings everybody together. That very innocent, childlike perspective on the Olympics, that ideal, that single thing is a bargaining chip. At the end of the day, that's a bargaining chip. That a group of people that are close to 100 in number sit at tables with major metropolitan areas and cities from all over the globe and put on the table and they say, give us money. The Olympics fucking suck, dude. The reality of the Olympics is fucking trash. And I don't give a fuck about it. You don't have to, all you need is 5 minutes on the world's #1 search engine, Bing.com, to realize that the Olympics are some bullshit. Go look up the IOC, go look up corruption. Go look up what some of these games do to some of these cities. And then think about it on a higher level. You have all this money being invested in infrastructure and buildings. And though sometimes, to be fair, some good does come out of it, right? For a lot of cities, development and urban development or certain things that they want to do construction on or get built up for their infrastructure even, it lags for so long, right? That's just how city governments are. But then the Olympics come, all of a sudden there's a deadline to get some of this stuff done. They start to push some of this stuff through, and yes, it starts to get moving, right? Because now there's a whole bunch of other parties involved. The illusion of a big chunk of change there too, right? There's something to work towards, and that's worth something, for sure. That's worth something. But on the back end, there's a lot of stupid shit. You gotta imagine some of these hell, you don't have to look further than Athens, man. Some people credit Athens' overinvestment in their Olympic Games, which, by the way, they almost always run over budget. Why? Because usually with the way it works is some cities have to invest in constructing different arenas or different places to be able to perform certain games, right? Then it gets crunch time and it doesn't look like they're going to make the schedule. Think about it. The Olympics are a set schedule. You know when they're going to be. Sometimes construction doesn't go all according to schedule. So if it looks like it's a 2-week job and you only got 5 days left, guess what? Everybody's working overtime. You can't have people running on wet cement. You got to work overtime. That's just one minor example of how a lot of these cities, they overinvest in it. Some cities, of course, more than others, right? Like, it depends. They end up with the term that I found is white elephants, where you end up building these huge structures and these huge facilities that end up having no use whatsoever afterwards. In fact, some of them become hubs for refugees, which I suppose is some form of good. They become hubs for refugees or, homeless folk, whatever. When you see stuff like that, you always have to put it in perspective of, like, how many hospitals could this have built? How many schools could this have, helped bolstered? All this money that went to this stuff, like, how much was it really worth? Was it worth the small boost of tourism? Because some cities, they see actually less tourism because people don't want to go stay in the city where the games are and stuff. The bottom line is, the Olympics fucking suck. But Japan, in particular, still clings to that ideal. They still love it. They got a real big boner for the Olympics. They love that shit. Mind you, I'm not privy to any inside information. This is mere speculation on my part. But, knowing how people are here, this is something that they want to work towards. This is something that they want to build upon. And they're getting closer to a goal that they have in the end, I think. This is not to be confused with this being an Olympic game. Here, just take a read. This is off the Esports Observer, by the way. $250,000 down for each tournament. Rocket League and Street Fighter V. $250,000, as much as Capcom Cup, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. That's big. That's bigger than what Capcom Cup a few years ago, right? It's a big deal. Then you continue reading. Online qualifiers will allow anybody from participating countries to compete for a chance to be named to their national team. Are you ready? So you're gonna have people competing on net play to make the national team. Can you imagine the national Street Fighter team? Then all the national teams are gonna go to Poland in June to determine which teams will be able to compete in the bracket in Tokyo. That's pretty much what was announced today. You know, not really. I don't really have an opinion. I think the Olympics fucking suck. I can't say I don't understand. I think the perspective on the Olympics that is held by Japan in general, especially old Japan. You gotta understand, like 50 to 60-year-olds in Japan, they still kind of hold that image to their heart. It's a big deal for them. I don't like it though. I don't like fighting games being anywhere near this shit. Intel and the IOC will host it. My thing is, I don't like the direction that moves in. And even though it's a cool pop, you know, it's pretty cool prize bonus, pretty cool pop bonus. Interesting idea, but not really interested. Don't really care. I think the Olympics suck. And that's the end of that.